links in a mad let's keep me alive, link in the description.
Hey everyone, it's time for some more Monster Hunter, and today we are going to fight the Basarios for real this time. Not the Gravios, but the Basarios. After that, we'll kind of just see where it goes. There's a couple of missions I was looking at, none of them seemed super pleasant, but I'm sure we'll find one to round off the video after we get done with Basarios. That said, sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. Now, I know last time I played online, I was in the pawn room, so I didn't really get to see what food was available here. Looks like we still have hardtack, but instead of just guts, there's actual food, such as cube steak and spicy sausage. As somebody who's fond of meat and also fish, I think I'm going to get some snake salmon with mild herbs. Hopefully that doesn't poison me. The great thing about foods and, the other rooms instead of, the base level pawn room is that there is a much lower chance of you actually getting poisoned. And it looks like I did get a buff this time. Oh, well, I guess not. I guess mild fish isn't exactly the best route to go if you want to get some sort of buff. That's fair. Now, I know I'm actually rocking a sword and shield right now. That is a bit of a mistake. I actually need to switch over to my spear. Something about Basarios is, just like Gravios, he's made of rock. So it's generally not a good idea to go in there without a piercing weapon that has a lot of sharpness. Because slashing weapons tend to not do very much damage to them. So your best bet is like a lancer. I don't think a piercing weapon, but a blunt weapon like a hammer. I'm still going to get a spike spear though, because I do believe they still go through armor pretty easily. Alright, so the quest we'll be doing is Basarios Unseen Peril. Now I have done this before offline, I believe, but I haven't done it online yet. So the guy was attacked out of the blue by Basarios because his shtick is that he only stays in one area of the map, but he also blends into the background by disguising himself as some rocks. So you're going to have to look at the rocks and actually attack the rocks and see which one of them Basarios pops out of. I'm going to take a moment to see if I can find a hunting party. So originally I was just about to hunt the Basarios on my own, but it looks like right as I was about to leave, two of my viewers actually showed up, so thanks for the help, Rain and Skits. I appreciate it. Really, the hardest part about Basarios is finding him to begin with. Whenever you do gotta find him, he does really just blend in with the environment. Something that is really good about the Basarios mission, and one of the reasons why it could be useful for a lot of people, is that he's a great way, and even in village quests whenever you fight him, but he's a great way of farming Vespoids. And the reason why is because he has this poison gas attack, and in the area where you fight him, there just happens to be anywhere from 3 to 5 Vespoid assaulting you at all times. So the poison gas attack does help with that. Generally, you will want to try to bait it out as much as you can, just because you want him to kill those Vespoids so that you can carve him. Another thing about the Basarios is he is arguably either the slowest or the second slowest monster in the game. I think the slowest would be Gravios. Something I did forget about is that in his mission, you might also find a couple of Eye Prey, but I don't think they should respawn. You just take care of them, and I think that's all you have to deal with when it comes to them. Of course, something I did forget to bring is antidotes. I should have known that, of course, I would get poisoned, not just by the Eye Prey, but by the Basarios as well. Although, I do believe I brought some from one of my last missions. But really the biggest threat in this mission is the poison and the Vespoids. I guess the paralysis from the Vespoids, because once they paralyze you, Basarios does like to charge and hip check a lot, so if you're paralyzed, you can just get a free charge in on you before you actually recover. The strategy with Basarios, though, is you want to attack his chest a lot, because once you do break his chest, it'll actually expose some of his flesh, and you can do increased damage. Thankfully, with anything that can block, you can actually block his poison attacks, the same with breath attacks as well. Generally, you shouldn't need to worry about paintballing Basarios because, to my knowledge, he doesn't leave Area 2 at all. Or if he does, it's very rare. Although he does have a fairly loud roar, so it can stun you from pretty far away. It looks like his chest has been attacked enough that his flesh is already exposed, so what we're going to want to do is focus on that weak spot and try to attack it as much as we can. However, it does look like a Vespoid has been killed by his poison attack, so I'm just going to go ahead and carve it real quick. Another thing Vespoid are used for, besides the armor so that you can hunt Kazu in the single player, is they do have this item called a monster fluid, and it can be used to make some very valuable, I believe it's weapons. I think some of the status element weapons do require monster fluid in order to craft. So something I think is kind of funny about Basarios' tail attack is, and I guess they made this decision because his tail is so short, But whenever he does a tail attack, it will still hit you and damage you, but instead of just sending you flying, it'll just knock you on your butt. I think that's a cute little detail. Generally, the biggest start with the Vespoid in these missions is that, let's say you have a blocking weapon, or you're trying to get out of the way of Basarios, but a Vespoid attacks you and stuns you. It can put you in the way of his charge attack, and I believe the charge attack is either his strongest or his second strongest attack. I know the Basarios can launch like a fireball, or like a little baby beam. I can't remember which one it was, but the Gravios has this infamous attack where it does like this laser beam from its mouth, but the Basarios isn't quite able to do that just yet. It looks like Basarios is able to fly up into the air. I actually didn't know Basarios could actually fly. I thought he was grounded for the most part. So I'm going to go ahead and paintball him just in case. Because I know sometimes he can't go off to like Area 6 or something like that. Or at least Area 4. I can't remember which. But I have seen a couple of missions with Basarios where he has gone away. Something that does make me feel a little bad whenever I fight him is because I know he's a baby, sometimes whenever you get his health low, he'll just kind of like flop around. And yeah, it just makes me feel a little bad, because he is just a baby. Alright, and just like that, the Basarios is slain. I'll be honest, I probably would have taken at least 3 or 4 times as long in order to kill it just on my own, but at the same time, it's generally not too difficult of a quest. The most difficult thing about him really is just his armor and trying to get past it, but once you break Basarios' chest open and find the openings to attack it, it's a pretty easy fight overall. The thing about Basarios is he's actually one of the best ways to farm Macalite ore. I can't remember, but I think in newer games you could possibly farm his back whenever he gets knocked over. By farm, I do mean mine off his back. I could be wrong, though. Definitely correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But at the end of his quest, you almost always get a fair amount of Macalite ore. So generally, if people need a bunch of Macalite for, let's say, the steel armor set, what they'll do is they'll farm a bunch of Basarios and get the set that way. And if you don't know, the steel armor set requires 12 pieces of Macalite ore for each piece of the armor that you can craft. Now, a mistake I gotta stop making is forgetting to put my gear away at the end of every mission, so I'm gonna go ahead and sell what supplies I can and put away the rest. Now, something I did completely forget about, and I do want to apologize for this, is that I had my grinding set on, or, you know, my set for tryhards when finding the Basarios, so the Kutku armor, I'm trying to avoid using that until I actually really need it. But in the meantime, I actually think I'm going to get a Rathian cap. I believe what this does is, if it works the same way as it does in Frontier, it should show you the location of the monster on the map at all times. As a matter of fact, I may already be able to supersede the Rathian, excuse me, not the Rathian, but the Kutku set with some Rathian and Rathalos gear, my first pieces. So I'm going to grab some Rathian and Rathalos pieces and see if I can craft something out of it. So if you don't know, in the older generations, the armors were actually split into 2 categories, Gunner and Blade Master armor. Now, for the Gunner sets, you can only use them with ranged weapons, and for the Blade Master sets, you can only use them with melee weapons. However, there was a catch, and that is the helmets. Any person can use any helmet from any armor set. And I actually am really fond of this Rathian helm. I'm not exactly sure what style it's in, but I just really like it. So I was definitely pretty excited to be able to craft it. Now, it also looks like I'm a little short on money, so I'm going to go ahead and sell a couple of Rathalos shells and see if I can get the Rathalos chest armor. Alright, and just like that, we should be able to craft the Rathalos melt. What am I missing? Macalite! I put the Macalite back. Let me grab that. Alright, just like that, we actually got our first upgraded armor set. Now, it's obviously not a whole bunch to work with, but in terms of the Kutku gear, it's definitely better than that. So, since I have earned this set, I'm actually going to change out of this armor. Excuse me, not change out of this armor. I'm going to sell the parts of the Kutku armor that I don't need anymore, as well as the parts of this armor. So let me just sell the helmets and the chest pieces for both. Then again, I'm probably going to keep the Kutku mount just because it does have that attack bonus. So let's say we hit a wall with like Gravios or something, I'll probably try the Kutku gear, although that is extremely unlikely. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to switch to another weapon. Probably one I haven't played with in a while. You know what? Just for the memes, let's try the Hero's Blade. Because why not? The Hero's Blade is renowned as one of the absolutely worst weapons in this game, but I do hear if you upgrade it, it does have a fair amount of sharpness. So what I want to know is, if it does have a fair amount of sharpness, does that mean it will be able to pierce through the hides of most things? I guess we'll have to see. Since I haven't been suffering enough in the last couple of episodes, I think, let's go ahead and get some more sootstone ore. We gotta deliver 3. It is only a 2-star quest, but it's still the swamp. So I'm not sure exactly what the catch for this is going to be. Maybe a Rathian's going to be there instead of a Gypsaros, but we will certainly see. Now, since this will be the swamp, I'll probably go ahead and grab some hot drinks, just in case we gotta go into a cool area. Seems like everyone's ready to go, so let's get this suffering out the way. Now, anytime you got a quest where you have to carry something, it's always a good idea to grab at least 1 or 2 rations whenever you first start it. My guess is that we're going to have to go into a cold area, so I will go ahead and grab some rations. I have healing. I think I also did forget to empty out my item pouch. Whoops. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and munch these rations and see if I can run up to Area 11 and get some more sootstone. Of course, you will need some pickaxes, because you got to mine for these sootstone. It does make me feel pretty good seeing Kelby here, though. To my knowledge, Kelby won't attack you whenever you got to carry an item past them. Although I am seeing the others go up. I'm not really sure if... Oh, I hear cats. Is that Melinx I hear? I do hear Melinx, I think. Yep, there they are. Honestly, I'm starting to develop a bit of a hatred for the Genprey. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they are just always really good at getting in my way in this game. Something I'm noticing, though, is that it looks like the cats, they are infinitely respawning. So I'm going to try to get rid of this last cat to get my Felvine back, and then I'm going to get out of here. Because I do not want to deal with infinitely respawning cats. I also really need to heal. These Velociprey, they're definitely beating me up right now. It does look like I'm going to have to go through Area 3. I'm not exactly sure what's going to be there, but it can't be worse than dealing with a bunch of Genprey and Melinx at the same time. Although I am seeing Rain running past with a sootstone ore. That makes me worried. That actually makes me really worried. They do take up a slot in your inventory. So if you need to carry an item, you gotta make sure you have an item left. Why is there a Basarios here? That must be the catch. Cool, 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 cool. Good to know. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Because large monster, and having to deal with that, so it's not ideal. I don't know exactly where the Basarios is going to be, but usually he doesn't travel too much. It shouldn't be as bad as a Gypsaros, at least, in terms of, like, getting constantly harassed. Really, I'm worried about the small monsters. God, what is more terrifying than having, like, 4 Vespoids slowly flying towards you, like, menacingly, while you're carrying a hold item? I am going to try my luck at going through this area here, partly because I haven't shown it off, really, and partly because, well, I mean, hey, just some Velociprey, to me at least, is better than Genprey and Melinx. Really, it's the Melinx I'm worried about, because they are really fast. And if you get a hold item, like, not only will they knock you down and break the item, but also there is the risk of them stealing an item from you at the same time. Of course, with the Velociprey here, you still have to use the same tactics, try to dodge and weave and not get hit by them, because all it takes is one mistake, and that can really mess you up, especially if you get boxed in. My goodness, I am just about to lose my stamina, so I'm going to use this Velociprey as a barrier to the others. Unfortunately, it looks like we failed this time, because there are a lot of Velociprey here, so I might as well just go ahead and kill some of them, see if they infinitely respawn, and if they don't, that should give us some breathing room. If they do, which they most likely will, then, hey, what can you do? Although, something I'm pretty surprised about is this Sword and Shield isn't really bouncing a lot. So, I might actually start unironically using it, because it seems like it's got a lot of sharpness. It is at red sharpness right now. It is at its lowest sharpness, and it's not bouncing off the Velociprey. So, if that's the case, I might start unironically using it, just because I like Sword and Shield. And it's really just that simple. I'm starting to wonder if this has some sort of Mind's Eye ability, because I didn't think Mind Eye was even invented in this game, but if it was, it seems like that's what this has. Of course, I've bounced a couple of times, but for the most part, I'm not bouncing at all. And even though this is only small monsters, it's still, the lack of bouncing at its lowest sharpness is pretty wild. I have tried killing a few of these Velociprey. It looks like they're infinitely respawning, so I'm going to run back and try to grab another sootstone ore. Although I wonder how many we've delivered so far. Only 1 of 3. That is not a good sign. Maybe I could try to run through area 5, I think it is, but honestly, I really want to try that larger area because it's just really cool looking. It's really, really cool looking. I actually like how it looks. Of course, the Velociprey are going to be a problem, so let's see if we can not get hit by Velociprey again. Thankfully, Rain is trying to serve as bait to clear out some of the Velociprey for us, but with us having a Sootstone ore, they are, I think, going to prioritize us. Maybe only if we get too close, but for now at least, Rain seems to be doing a good job of keeping them off our backs, and wow, hi, Velociprey. And so we're going to try to take advantage of that to get through here. Whenever you do zigzag, though, you should try to avoid going in too sharp of a zigzag, I guess. You want to go forward as much as you can while going off to the side. Because the Velociprey can just turn to the left or turn to the right and just give you a little nibble. And that attack comes out quick. So if they give you a little nibble, then you're pretty much toast. Looks like we are pretty much in the clear, though. I don't like how that Kelby gestured at me. Generally, that's like a sign of aggression from them when they like lower their head like that. To my knowledge, at least. If they're going to like attack you. I would absolutely be getting some Kelby horns and warm pelts if one of these Kelby attacks me here. It does look like I forgot to use a ration, or maybe I just didn't use enough rations, but our stamina did go down by 1 bar, so that is going to hamper us a little bit. Shouldn't be too much, though. We should be able to make it. Although, it looks like if Skitz is the one with the ore, then he should be able to make it. I believe they're in the last area right now, so this mission might already be over. That does mean I'm going to have to try to navigate through this Velociprey alone until the quest is finished, though. But I'm not too worried, because it looks like we already won. Honestly, I'm just doing this because I want to see if I can. I'm not thinking, should I do this? I'm thinking, can I do this? And now I have to prove to myself that I can, because my ego's hurt from last time. Lamau. Oh, I just know I'm so close. I just have to get... It's that one Velociprey. I'm worried it's going to jump up on me. I can just... Oh, my God. Yes. Okay. I did it. Woo. I definitely can do it. Should I have done it? Probably not. It was pointless. But I proved to myself I do not suck at the game. Although I wonder... Yeah, okay. So our stamina does deplete. If you don't know, that's what happens when your stamina goes all the way to 0 when you're carrying a carry item. You just kind of hunch over and drop it. So... definitely be mindful of that. Now I want to see how much it costs to upgrade the Hero's Blade, because it does look like it doesn't bounce anywhere near as much as the other Sword and Shield, so that does make it very appealing to me. Even if it doesn't have the elemental damage and, you know, it sucks, it doesn't bounce a lot, and for me, that is good enough. Alright, and just like that, I'm going to call it here. Thank you everybody so much who decided to join. If you liked the video, leave a like on it, comment down below if you have any tips for me, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. If you want to join me for my hunts, I do have a Discord down in the description below. And if you want to ensure the future of the channel and have a spot on the wall of absolute mad lads like Snifty over here, as well as recommending other games for me to try outside of Monster Hunter, also check out my Patreon, linked in the description below as well. That way I can get dog food forever. Bye now.